an inspiring individual, a tech professional, a storyteller, and a philosopher, driven by the desire to inspire and connect through his works. Today we welcome Bill Combs. Bill is an emerging author who has recently entered the publishing world, blending his lifelong passion for writing with his professional background in information technology. He began writing short stories in his youth, but set them aside for years while focusing on his work and his family. His return to writing was sparked by his friendship with a published author, whom Bill assisted in navigating the publishing process. This experience reignited his creative spark, leading him to pursue his own writing career, showing us that it's never too late to get back our old passions. Since then, Bill has published 2 books and several ebooks. He has also developed a philosophy mixing quantum physics and by spirituality, a framework he created himself that gave his work its own distinctive mark. Welcome to Writing Inspiration with Marquee Books. Hello, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, Bill, what made you try to become a writer yourself?
Well, let's see. It started, I used to write a lot of short stories when I was younger and kind of put that aside for a while. But a friend of mine that I met within the last several years himself is a writer, and I've been kind of helping him get published and working through some of that challenge. And in doing that, it kind of inspired me to start writing again. So yeah, it's been something I've had in my blood for a while, but it just kind of, a friend of mine kind of triggered me to do it again.
So is your friend already a published author right now?
Yeah, he is a published author, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Do you maybe want to share their name?
Sure. His name is Brian A. Hill, and he just published a novel called Venus Rising.
Oh, I think I know that name. I'm pretty sure I saw that title before.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So did you ever thought this will happen to you, becoming a writer, a published author yourself?
No, I did not. For most of my life, I've been heavily into work and family. And so now that it's later in my life, I didn't think it was going to be time for that. But surprisingly, I was wrong, and I was happy to be wrong.
I can see that too. So do you maybe you got inspired by any other author other than your friend for, your writing?
I mean, I've been inspired by a lot of different authors. I mean, I read a lot growing up. Hundreds, if not thousands of books when I was a kid, a lot of fantasy, science fiction, a lot of things like from Stephen King, pretty much every major author. I've just read a lot. I can't really point to a particular genre or author that really was my all-time favorite. I've had so many of them. But what I've found to be the most motivating thing for me is not necessarily the author, but the book. If the book moves me or that I get really invested in the characters and the setting and the environment so that when I'm done reading it, it feels like a sad ending, then I know that it was a good book. And so I've had quite a few of those over my life that I truly enjoyed.
How many books do you have out there right now?
I've written 2 books, and I've written probably about half a dozen little ebooks.
Oh, that's awesome! Wow.
And I've got 4 more in the queue right now.
When did you start? I mean, in what year?
I actually started in 2023. I published my first book last September, and I'm getting ready to publish my first novel here in a week.
Wow. You went rushing already.
Yeah, well, the creative process for me is when it starts flowing, it starts flowing. So I don't really get a chance to stop it.
No, that's great. I do think that for a book without editing, at least for the first draft, 3 months is more than enough.
Yeah. And my novel took me 5 drafts to get through.
But editing could take years.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. Yes, indeed.
So, do you have a day job, or are you a full-time writer right now?
I would love to be a full-time writer. However, no, I do have a day job. I work in the information technology field. So which has been a help because computer programs, software, working with all of that is second nature to me. So that makes a lot of this process a lot easier for me.
Oh, okay. Do you have any hobbies right now that, inspire your work?
I do. I actually do a lot of teaching and lecturing here in where I live. I enjoy computer software and just kind of playing around with different things. I enjoy, gaming that has really beautifully detailed worlds and characters. Again, just kind of be able to get a feel for it. So if I have something like that, I really enjoy that. Still read a lot of books, enjoy them. As I said before, I have many books in my house, which they're like my kids. They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, did you ever give books you won't use anymore, to charity and stuff?
Yep, I have. I've donated them to libraries. I've donated them to local used bookstores. Absolutely. Yeah, I used to have well over 5,000 volumes in my house, and this is probably 20 years ago. And moving around, I would simply reduce and donate people who wanted them, or either friends who wanted them, or libraries, or anything else that we could. It's rare that I throw a book away unless it's a really common paperback that exists, everywhere.
How long did it take you to get published?
Basically, I'm self-publishing. My friend has a publishing company, a little independent publishing company. So he and I work together on that. And then I'm just publishing through Amazon. And it's been, if you don't know technology, it can be a little challenging. But because I understand it, I helped him with formatting his manuscript. And then I've been able to format all of mine without any problem.
What was going on in your life at that moment?
At the moment I was publishing?
Yeah.
I was working, basically doing my teaching, working. That's pretty much been standard now for the last 2.5, 3 years. Before that, I was in school, I've left school and come back to work.
Did you edit your own books or your friend helped you?
I had a combination. I actually used some advanced software to do editing, and then I had a friend of mine who's got an advanced English degree, and some other friends to read and provide feedback. And I'm not a person that needs to have it perfect. It just has to be really, as good as I can make it. So between all of them, like I said, I had 5 revisions and massive amounts of edits, but I feel really good about the version that's going out in a week.
I completely agree. These tools are pretty good and seems pretty on point at this date, but it's not, because my editor, every time I use them, my editor is like, this doesn't make any sense in English.
Right. That's right. You have to have a human being reading just to go through the book to read it. So I had 3 or 4 people reading it, and they're the ones who provide me with like, oh, this doesn't make sense to you, or this transition the wrong way, or something like that. That's been always very helpful.
That's completely true. So tell me, do you have any advice for any new writers starting right now?
I would say that don't be discouraged. Definitely, if you have the desire to create. It's very easy to publish a book today. It doesn't cost a lot to do that. And as long as you're not attached to having to sell 1,000 copies or 10,000 copies on day one, it's really, really pretty easy to put something out there.
Yeah. That's completely true. Honestly, I'm worried a bit about the future of traditional publishing, because most people told me that they prefer self, because honestly, on marquee books, we always have problems with publishing houses, because they don't like other people taking credit for covers or other services, that they want to all the credit. So
Yep. It's so much easier to publish on your own today, and you could work with like independent folks like yourself to get covers done. You could do a lot of the editing on your own. You get some good friends, you can cover that. You can even pay for editors if you want to, just to be absolutely sure.
Oh, yeah.
But ultimately, yes, I think you probably end up with around the same amount of royalties in a book based on that.
I will add that you have to be careful with editors too, because I paid 3 and they weren't that good.
That's right. You have to know the person you're going to work with, and typically when you find somebody good, you're going to stick with them. But otherwise, you just gotta. But it's so unbelievably painless today to publish, as long as you understand how to use your word processor, how to format the document appropriately. is fairly painless to publish and get it out there. Honestly, the most difficult part of putting a book out today is the marketing of it. I mean, okay, what do you want to do? How do you want to get to the people you want to read it? That's really the toughest part.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. What is the most difficult thing you had to struggle at the start?
It's definitely the marketing. I mean, I've done a lot of marketing in my life, so I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with the tools. I could use various software tools to create marketing because I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to be able to create artistic stuff, but I can get software to do that for me, and I can create these tools and market stuff, and that helps a lot. And just getting the book in front of people that it will resonate with, and being okay with whatever happens.
Could you elaborate a bit more about these tools?
I use a lot of tools, like some of the AI tools that will create marketing videos and things of that nature, and it's great for publishing on social media. It gets attention. Because I'm a tech guy, I've created my own websites. I have a website as an author, you can go look at previews, you can go buy my books there. So those are easy for me to set up, and it makes it, I can market it that way. And I write a lot of short stories as well that I put out there. So it is a little bit easier for me, but that doesn't require a ton of experience. Just a little bit of YouTube videos to probably get you through most of it.
So tell me, how is your writing routine? Do you pre-plan everything? Are you a plotter, or maybe you improvise?
I tend to try to plot out, at the very least, at a high level, the outline for the book. Now, when I'm actually writing, I will deviate from the outline if I feel like strongly that it should. And the way I've been writing now, it's the character. I used to try to tell this character story, and I've learned now to let the characters tell their own story. And so that's caused, outlines to really be more like suggestions and not so much like a hard and fast pathway that I'm going to take, because, I'll be thinking of characters and I'll have a totally different idea in the midst of writing that I want to go ahead and explore.
That sounds great. So how do you navigate, writer's block and stuff like that?
With writer's block, I simply walk away from it for a while. I mean, if I have to do something else or just, put it down, I try to do most of my writing in the morning, but around noon to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I stop. And I don't do much writing past that. I might do a little bit of marketing, but my most creative hours are in the morning. So I leverage those as much as I can. And I don't try to force myself to write the rest of the day. I don't put deadlines on myself that I'll get really upset if I don't hit. I put a deadline for a goal, and if I don't hit it, that's okay.
That sounds great. So can you tell us a bit about your books?
The first book I wrote was a nonfiction book, and it was sort of encompassed my philosophy that I've been teaching here locally for the last 3.5 years. So it was, more of a book that was looking at combining quantum physics and spirituality together and how those work. And I put a framework together for that. And it's a small book, but it covers everything I've been teaching in presentations now for roughly 3.5 years. Now, the philosophy in that book is very core to me. And I started finding out that as I was teaching, if I started telling stories, I started getting people started listening more, and they got it easier. So one of the catalysts for writing was maybe I can convey some of this information via storytelling. And I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. And so my novel, The Quantum Gate, it's a fun, adventure thriller story, but there's things wrapped in it, little pieces of it that are tapping into some of those ideas that I put together in my first book. In fact, it's kind of interesting. In the Quantum Gate, there's a part of that where the protagonist is actually writing a book. And that book I'm actually writing in real life. So that book will come out, but it'll be from me, not from him.
Can you elaborate a bit about the quantum physics plus the philosophy?
Yeah, I mean, I teach a lot here on just, possibilities and, about meditation and how to create that world, that life you really want. Doing what I'm doing right now is as a direct result of me being able to create a life that I have a great job, but I also have the time and the flexibility to write, which is fantastic. And so I teach folks that, and I write stories and short stories and blogs to kind of help convey some of those ideas to people. And I will do presentations and workshops here locally. I've been doing them for a while, and I love it. It's a part of me. But like everything else, there's the stories always tend to make the biggest impact. Everybody's eyes are on me when I tell a story. Stories are what human beings love to connect with. So I'm finding as I do this more and more that storytelling is actually probably a better way of conveying this information than anything else.
Can you tell us a bit about your other book?
The first book is called Quanticism. That's the name of the philosophy I created, and it's just a simple. It's on Amazon. It's just a simple book that talks about the philosophy I've taught about, the four pillars of it, and it's not a big book. It's about 160 pages only.
Oh yeah, it's okay for a first one.
Yeah. The Quantum Gate's bigger. The Quantum Gate's about 320 pages, so it's a full novel.
Are you working on another book right now?
I'm working on 3 books right now. 3 other books right now. I have the second nonfiction book I'm working on, and then there are 2 additional books that'll be following up from the Quantum Gate. So they're just getting started. The next one probably won't be out until the end of the year, at the earliest.
That's actually impressive. How can you jumble 3 books at the same time?
I just switch off whatever makes me happy that day. So I can go into one, and sometimes I may have to spend more time thinking about the plots in the novel. The nonfiction is a lot easier because it's just I know what to write there. It's just a matter of writing it. The novels they require some creative juice, and so you gotta sometimes give it a little bit of time to kind of flow.
Aren't you afraid that your ideas like mash up?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. The Quantum Gate novel is absolutely in alignment with the Quanticism philosophy, but it's in a total story form. You would never know it. It's there. It's just in a story. It's in a wonderful story So yeah, it's just there.
I get it. They are so different that it's one big problem.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
My editor told me that I shouldn't write 2 different books at the same time because it could happen.
Yeah, these are actually obviously they're the same idea, but the lens you look at them with are different.
Okay. Do you have a story of how you named your books?
Well, yes. The first one, Quanticism, actually came from a meditation. I was meditating, and I was actually asking for a group. I just moved into this area. I was like, can I find a group that could have some folks I could chat with and, get to know? And I wasn't finding anything. And I got this name just kind of shot in my head. And I was like, okay, so I have to create this thing, I guess. So I did. I created Quanticism. It was my term. I coined it, and I basically created meetup groups all around the Southeast, and have done online workshops, in-person workshops, and I've been writing about it and doing blogs now, like I said, for about 3.5 years.
Wait, you did the paperwork to own the term?
Yeah.
That's so cool. It is difficult.
It is, and the thing is that it's not, and I'm not going to fight to go through that. I didn't trademark it because it's very expensive, but I copyrighted it. And so if they want to use it, I can stop them, but if it's tied to the same thing I'm talking about, then it's mine.
Okay, that's great.
Yep. So the second book, The Quantum Gate, I named that because number one, I do a lot of things with quantum physics and spirituality. And so the Quantum Gate is sort of it's a title, and it's also a meaning and a plot device. So they all it was a perfect title for the book.
Okay. Yeah, it just sounds cool. And like a sci-fi, like a sci-fi book.
It's not sci-fi. It's actually more of a combination of like the Da Vinci Code meets Indiana Jones meets the Celestine Prophecy. I mean, it's kind of that intersection there.
Well, that's actually impressive because I actually thought it was sci-fi when I first heard it.
And people do, but the cover will make it fairly clear that it's not. But yeah, it's definitely, it takes place in Egypt almost exclusively, and it talks more about ancient civilizations, and it's got some sci-fi in a very loose sense, but it's definitely
I think
some unique parts.
Yeah, we are working on your cover.
Yeah, you guys did the cover for me, which was great.
Yeah. I think it was some details still, or it's already done.
It's done. Yeah, it's fully done.
Oh, excellent. I hope you like it.
I did. I loved it. It was wonderful.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So, right now you're writing these three books, but which one are the closest to finish?
I would think the next nonfiction book will be the closest because it's basically an upgrade to the first one, formulaic kind of output, where it doesn't require a lot of creativity. It's just talking about things I've been talking about and just putting it in a way I'm going to add some more stories into it. But it's for the most part, it's just taking what I've been doing for years and for decades in other space and just putting it on paper.
Now, I have this little controversial question. Till now, which one is your favorite from the books you wrote yourself?
That's a tough question because they're different books. One's a novel and one's nonfiction. I will tell you that I probably will like the new nonfiction better than the old nonfiction because I've learned a lot and I've discovered some new ideas I want to incorporate. The novel I love. When you could write your novel and then when you read it, it can make you cry. You did a pretty good job because what's coming.
I completely agree. If it makes you feel something, then you are on the right track.
Yeah,
especially if that was the thing you wanted in the first place.
Right. You want the people to feel something, and that was the goal. The first few readings did not do that. My editors and my friends were very wonderful to tell me that, even though I thought that it was good. They were like, you could do better.
Oh,
and they did.
That's the tricky part because we understand the context as writers. When we're reading, we think it's giving the message you want, but that's not necessarily applied for others.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my lesson this is a big lesson for me as a writer, a new writer. I was telling my story. I was telling the story, and I was being a little more preachy about the ideas and the spiritual ideas and quantum physics ideas in the book. And I was not paying attention to the story part of it too much. I was just using the story as a vehicle to deliver information. And I did it a few times. I got better and better. But finally, they all sat down with me at dinner. I had three of them. It's like going to a dissertation review. I had three of them looking at me and saying, this is not, you could do better. You got to do better. We're not feeling this. We're not feeling the characters. We're not seeing their growth. We're not feeling, what's motivating them. We're not feeling it. We're feeling like we're reading a book that's conveying information, not one that's conveying emotion. And I was a little bit, shocked about that. I thought it was actually pretty good, but clearly it wasn't. Went back, spent a couple days thinking about it. And then I got really motivated and I was like, okay, I think I know what I need to do. So I started writing a chapter here, a chapter there, sending it over to them to get, hey, am I on the right track? Is this better? And they were like, yes, much better. So then got it. So then I knew what to do. And I let the characters tell their story. I just went and did it. I actually wrote the entire draft, which was a total rewrite of the book, in about 2 months.
That's pretty great. Hey, at least you find the time to do that.
Yep. I mean, I kept some of the prose, obviously, but there was a lot of stuff I had to add in there to make it and just clean up the plot. I mean, it was just, there's some great tools out there right now that can analyze your manuscript and determine if you have plot holes and things. And they're great because they found stuff I didn't know was even in there. So it was very useful for me to do that.
Do you have other support on your support network other than your friend that have the little publishing company you mentioned?
You mean as far as various companies supporting us, or
no? I mean like other writers, publishers, editors.
We have, I think there's one other writer that we know of, but it's right now it was just him and I.
Well, that's okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you hire other editors to see your work, or only your friend?
Yeah, only, like I said, the one friend I have has got an English degree and is an avid reader and has been reviewing stuff for years. So I really trusted her feedback. Other friends were writers or just readers, and so I let kind of a cross section look at it. And did I get a professional editor that I paid money to? No, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I feel like I've read the book, they've read the book. I've done analysis of the book. I feel like it'll resonate with people that it's going to resonate with. And it's not going to be perfect for everybody. No book is.
Yeah, that's completely true. So, what is your largest goal or dream now that you're an author?
To do that full time, to be successful and to be able to leave my existing job and just write, teach full time. That's my goal.
That's a nice goal.
Yeah.
I agree. It will be nice to just write all day.
Yeah. Yep. It's a goal that I know I will achieve. It's just, this is the first novel getting out there is going to be really interesting to see how that goes and that process. And I'm excited about it. I've already got marketing campaigns queued up and ready to go. And, again, because I've done marketing in business, I'm at least somewhat familiar with the process and how to do that.
Oh, yeah. At least you have that advantage.
Right.
So, do you have any talk experience with readers that you remember fondly?
With readers?
Yeah, with readers of your work.
Oh yeah. I've had many people read my blogs and short stories, and they've loved them, and I've talked with them, and it's been great because it's had an impact on them. It's impacted their life in some way, and that's the best thing a writer can feel, is when what you write has a positive impact on somebody's life.
I agree. It's always nice to hear that it also is actually helping them somehow.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
So what are your plans for the future? Are you planning to go to any event to promote yourself or something?
Don't know. This is all kind of new and unknown to me, so I'm kind of looking to see what unfolds with it. I'm open to do that, but for now, I'm just going to publish and market. I've got people in various cities to reach out to see if I can get some kind of events going there. But if I don't, that's okay too. But I'm going to reach out and do that. But I really want to get the book released and really get it into people's hands, get some feedback from folks, really understand, what's really resonating with them. If something didn't, what that was, just so I can learn and become better.
Okay. Can you tell us in which platforms we will get your books?
Right now it's through Amazon only. So Kindle's available and paperback will be available. I am going to be working on trying to get an Audible or audio version. That just takes more time and effort to do that.
Can you share your social media that maybe some other people might be interested?
You can. My Instagram is my biggest. It's Quanticism, but it's got 2 underscores in the front and in the back.
Oh,
so beginning and end.
I can see Quanticism.
Yep, and it's got the 2 underscores beginning and end of it. Because somebody actually grabbed that when I first set it up. They grabbed that before I could get to it. So
I think you already have much more of the help that you need in this situation. You have the editor, designers, and even you know what to do with marketing.
Right.
So I think you are very well placed, more than other new writers right now.
Yes. But I still would not be discouraged, because there are wonderful companies like yourself. You're a very reasonable cost for a cover. The cover was beautiful. It adds a tremendous amount for people to want to purchase it and see it. There are other companies that do similar things that you can do. And so I'm not saying it's free, but you can do a lot of that work fairly cheap. And publishing on Amazon is still free.
Do you have a website?
Do I have a website? I do. It's just billcombs.com.
Okay. Oh, are you promoting your book there too?
I am, yes. Yeah. That's my author site. All my creative writing is done on that site.
Do you share short stories there for free?
Yeah,
like a blog post?
Yeah, I just published one today, in fact.
Oh,
yeah, they're all free on there. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Bill. I think that's all for now. Thank you for joining
Daniel.
us today and for everything.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I really hope you really like the cover and that it's useful for you.
Oh, it was beautiful. I truly, I've already recommended you to several people, so hopefully you'll get some extra customers.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today.
All right. Bye now.
We learned quite a lot from Bill today, like how a helping hand can ignite in us the need to try again. Also, a nice advice about investing in quality support, as his work wouldn't have reached the level it has without his editors, designers, and friends giving their feedback. It's something we have to learn to appreciate sometimes. We also learned that while teaching his Quanticism philosophy, Bill found that storytelling captivated audience more than dry lectures. This realization shaped his novel and reinforced his approach. And this is something we all can do when trying to deliver a message. Well, thanks for coming and joining us today. If you find this episode inspiring, like, subscribe, and share this video. And give Marky Books a try in the link below. Have a nice day and see you next week.